Right, greetings fellow repairers and journeyers of and owners of Land Rover Discovery 3s. Today's exciting adventure is we're going to have to take off this heat shield and we're going to have a little look at the prop shaft, because I got a we're going to take a little look at the prop shaft because I got a advisory on my MOT about something being worn. The car has been making a slightly quirky sort of noise. I thought it was just suspension, but I think actually it could be that the centre bearing has gone, the rubber mount. If I wiggle it, you can see this is moving around quite a lot. So I need to get off this big heat shield that runs along here. It's not very difficult. It's got a few nuts and bolts on it. Some of these fixings here. And then we're going to take a little look at that and see whether I can do a temporary repair, because I really don't want to take the prop shaft off or replace it at the moment, because I spent a whole ton of money on this car recently getting it through the MOT and replacing other suspension components, and hopefully we can do a sort of in situ repair, and I'll show you what I'm intending to do once I've got to the centre prop bearing. Okay, bear with me. There you go. You can see this bearing inside, the rubber around the edge has kind of gone and it's perished and it's separated. So the kind of noises I'm getting are squeaky and rattly. Look, you can see where it's perished here. So this is worn. The actual bearing itself feels fine. It's not the bearing that's gone. It's the rubber around it. Now you can take this out and you can replace it. I've seen the videos of that. That looks relatively hard work. I'm not in the mood for hard work at the moment because I'm feeling completely knackered due to my ongoing kidney issues and dialysis. Right, so what I have bought is something called Puraflex 40. So, right, this stuff. What I'm intending to do is to put this around where the rubber on the bearing has failed. The bearing itself feels smooth, so it's not actually faulty in that sense. So I don't have the energy to replace this, and I need a quick fix. So I'm going to attempt this, and what I'll do is I'll monitor it, and in a couple of weeks' time after I've done it, I'll check it and see how it's going. I've seen other people do this, or I've read about it on forums, and as far as I'm concerned, if it just replaces the rubber element of the bearing, then that's fine and buys me a bit of time. Remember, this is an old car. It's 17 years old, and I at the moment don't have a lot of energy. I don't want to be pulling out the drive shaft for the sake of it, and you know, I could do it. You can buy the bearing. It's relatively cheap. It's about £30 to buy a decent bearing, but right at this point in time I don't want to do it, so I'm going to attempt this. What I'll do is I'll clean it up. I'll get a toothbrush and brush it out and get some brake cleaner in there, get it so it's kind of clean enough, and then I'm just going to fill in the void where the rubber has perished with this sealant stuff, and you know, give it a few hours to set, and then hopefully that will stop the centre bearing issue. Right, so here we are. Let's have a look. See if we can see. So we've got the shell for the bearing, which is fine, and then the bearing, which is just degreased with some isopropyl alcohol, and I've taken off the bits that were loose and flaky, so I've got that left. So what I'm going to do is I'll probably bolt this back on, and then we'll get some sealant in there and see whether we can make a nice strong sealant ring around here, fill it in, and get it centered up as well as possible, and then see how we get on. And that is my temporary repair of the center prop bearing, and I'm going to leave that chocked up like that. I'm going to leave that for a number of hours, let it set, and see how we get on. Okay, there you go, one job down. One thing I've become aware of doing this repair under the car, just that I think putting copper slip on aluminium, which I didn't realise is not a good idea. It's looking a bit worse aware, and I'm going to wipe off any copper slip that's on here, get the bolts and nuts cleaned up, and put on, I'll probably just put on some grease. It's just looking worse aware, and I think copper slip is reacting with the aluminium and causing a problem. Right, this is the morning after the PU seal has gone on, and as you can see, it's still there. My little jack and piece of wood has kept it nice and kind of centered. I don't think it's completely set. It still feels quite malleable. It's dry on the outside, but it's definitely got some give internally, because I can feel it. So I'm going to leave it for a bit longer. It's warm weather at the moment. It's about 20 degrees C, so I'm hoping if I leave it for a bit longer it will cure. There you go, we've had 48 hours to cure. It's all looking nice and sort of squishy but solid, and it's certainly supporting the bearing like it wasn't before. So I'm going to see how we get on with this, and I'll probably have a look in a few weeks' time, see whether it's holding up. But if that's going to work, that's a nice easy fix for something that would be a bit of a pain to take out and do. Although I'm not averse to that, I just don't really have the energy or time or desire to do it at the moment. So there you go.